At a public event in Washington, D.C. this week, APTA CEO and President Michael Melaniphy summarized last year's successes and this year's aspirations for the public transportation industry. In his State of the Industry address, he described a growing industry that requires financial support from the federal government to maintain the safety of its passengers and the upkeep of its infrastructure.
In the third quarter of last year, we saw 54 million more riders than in the same quarter in 2013. But notwithstanding this great progress, we still have significant capital needs. We must return our systems to a state of good repair so they can operate safely, efficiently, and effectively.
During last year's election season, voters turned out in support of public transit.
During the last election, we saw tremendous support for public transportation-specific tax initiatives. The overall passage rate for all of 2014 was 69% across the country for the full year.
In addition, 2/3 of voters support allocating tax dollars to expand public transit in their communities.
We have the support of our taxpayers across this country. They understand and they value the investment in transit.
Looking to the future, Melaniphy discussed the millennial generation's demand for multimodal transportation.
70% of the millennials are saying they prefer to live in urbanized areas that give them multimodal transportation choices. And we're beginning to see and anticipate adoption of new features that make our systems even more usable.
Public transit agencies and cities are responding to the demand for multimodal systems. 2015 will host numerous BRT projects, light and heavy rail extensions, upgraded commuter rail service, and a continuation of the streetcar renaissance.
Our industry partners, they stand ready to build the infrastructure, to build the transit centers, the multimodal facilities, to build the streetcars, the buses, the heavy rail vehicles, the infrastructure we need. We are ready, and we can absolutely do it. We have the capacity to do so.
But without a long-term surface transportation bill, the future is uncertain for the upkeep of these projects.
We know that recently the administration put forth the Grow America Act. While we may not agree with all of it, it's exciting to see them put this bold initiative out. A bold investment in transportation to put a stake in the ground to move the dialogue forward.
But when private businesses consider investing in a country's infrastructure through public-private partnerships, those nations with long-term federal funding are more attractive.
If we want to bring international P3 partners, we need to look at policy as well as dollars. We need to have that long-term investment. The current dedicated funding in the Transportation Trust Fund will fall short of helping us restore the $88 billion in backlog that we must address in returning our systems to a state of good repair. On April 9th, we are going to have a National Transportation Messaging Day. Transit agencies will help lead this message. It is a local message bringing together all of your transportation players in your community.
If you are interested in learning more about this April 9th event, visit www.apta.com/standupfortransportation.
We will get a long-term bill to fund transportation in this country. Let us not abdicate to the status quo. At the end of the day, good enough is just not good enough.